This is a Carrera 3.2 EFI engine. The owner has shipped this to me on a pallet, so he's taken off the air intakes and the heater ducts and whatnot. Obviously that's why that's missing. And he's kept the airflow meter and the air intake because I don't need those to rebuild this, but I'll give everything here a good clean. Looks like it's running the stock heat exchangers, as you can see underneath. And I'm pretty sure that's a Monty muffler. It's a one in with two outs. And funnily enough, I've actually got one of those here for sale if somebody wants one. So the reason he sent it to me to rebuild is because it's leaking a lot of oil and blowing a bit of smoke. So it's just a bit tired. So this is from a later model 3.2. So it's got a G50 gearbox and of course the G50 flywheel and pressure plate, etc. So it's got an aftermarket cat bypass pipe. Looks like he's not running any O2 in it. So he's got no O2 sensor on his ECU, no big deal. So I'll give it a good check through, but I'll rotate it over. But I just want to show you the general condition with the griminess of it. So as per usual, a lot of the leaks were on the top of the engine, so you can see the moisture. The breather hose was leaking quite a bit. See, it's coming down the side and also down this side of the engine case over the crank reference sensors and top dead center sensor. And heat exchangers are of course covered. Quite a bit of oil on that heat exchanger. I'm not sure exactly where that's coming from. We'll do a pressure test on the oil cooler to make sure it's not leaking itself, but I think it'll be okay. Looks like the valve covers were leaking as well. I'll rotate this over. Okay, so I've got the engine flipped upside down. There's oil here, but that's just from the plug that either hasn't been torqued correctly after they drained the oil. Still a bit of oil coming out from the breather. As you can see, this part of the front of the case is quite wet and could be from a leaking rear main seal, who knows, most likely. Heat exchangers do have a bit of oil on them. I mean, this is obviously fresh from just the dripping from here, I think. But you can see that the valve covers are quite wet. And also there's quite a bit on the camshaft tower back there, so I wonder whether it's got some leaking rocker shaft seals, or maybe the head to the cam box might be. Look at these nuts holding on the head exchange. They're going to be fun to get off. Great. One thing I did notice. Okay, there's obviously a bit of a leak here. Could be anything really, but over here on cylinder number 3, I don't know if you can see that. Let me have a look at the screen. But there's a lot of black sealant, rubbery silicon or RTV that they've just squished in here. So they obviously believe there's a leak from the head to the camshaft tower. I don't know. I mean, that's not normal. It's possible, but not normal. It's more likely to be a rocker shaft seal that's leaked there. And as you see on the back of the chain box, there's plenty of old grime on both sides. So obviously the cam thrust plates are leaking, which is normal. And yeah, so now it's time to start the disassembly, and I guess I'll start with the muffler. So as you can see, all of these nuts here that are holding the heat exchanger, that's the standard 13mm socket, a spanner. Look how much, there's nothing there, so I'm going to have to cut these or grind these all off. These look pretty original, so yeah, cut. I'm not looking forward to these ones, but I think we'll have to use a lot of heat for these ones. Okay, bit of an update. I have finally gotten the heat exchangers off, and it was not a straightforward process. It seldom is. This one was very much stuck on. I ended up having to pull it off in a single piece because I wasn't able to get the angle grinder in to access all the nuts on the underside, but now that it's off I can do that. But in order to get the nuts off for the heat exchangers from here, they were all very heavily corroded on the outside and none of them were going to come free, so I had to use oxyacetylene to heat them up as hot as I possibly could, and then with a combination of tools and whatnot ended up getting them all undone. I'm not too sure if the threads are damaged. I don't think so, because I heated them up pretty hot. They sort of came loose without any real screeching or carrying on, but when the heads are sent away to be rebuilt, we'll assess and see whether they need to be drilled out and replaced, but it would be good if we don't have to. But one of the things I wanted to show you on the underside of this engine, yeah, there were a lot of oil leaks. It looks like it was leaking here at the crankshaft pulley seal. I'm assuming it was leaking at the flywheel seal. But on the cylinder number 3, because we're upside down, so this is cylinder number 3, but check out all this black silicon or sealant or whatever you want to call it, stuffed in there. Looks like it's into the oil tube area as well. Yeah, so they obviously, there was some sort of an oil leak there, whether it's coming from there or the rocker shaft seals. It's always never the outside one, it's usually the inside one, but apart from that, everything else is hopefully going to start coming apart a little bit easier. Well, got the shroud off. Look at this. So this has been leaking for quite a while. And one of the problems that you get is with because the fan is just blowing air through, and it's not blowing filtered air, so it's blowing grit and dirt and dust down through the top of the engine. And then of course when you have an oil leak, the oil traps the dirt. So you can see, if I just get something to scrape, like look how thick this is. Now, where are we? Well, it's just thick. Just thick. And of course this one here has had a huge leak, so look at that. So there's obviously no cooling going through here at all, which is a shame. But well, that's what I'm here for, I guess. So what I'm going to do is try and vacuum up as much of this as I can before I pull it apart, just to try and minimise the amount of mess that I'm going to make on my floor. But left hand side hasn't escaped. Look at this, it's just so much. So yeah. Okay, so we've gone a little bit further. We've gotten the chain covers off and the valve covers off. Just having a bit of a look, you can see how far the chain tensioner piston is extended there. So normally that bevel at the top, that little bevel there, that's normally flush roughly with the body of the tensioner. And see how the top of the arm's getting quite close to the case. I mean, it's still got a fair bit of life in it, but obviously there's a lot of wear in these sprockets and potentially the chain as well, so no doubt the camshaft timing won't be accurate. Same on the right hand side. If anything, this one's probably extended just a little bit further. Another thing I've noticed is on the idler arm sprocket, so this one's been polished, there's no ridge, but on this one I can feel a ridge even through the thickness of my rubber glove. I can feel a ridge, so really that sprocket should be changed, I would think. I would say that the sprocket alignment, the chain alignment probably isn't quite right. I don't know whether this has been apart before. I don't think so at this stage, but who knows. Pulling the breather cover off, that was full of RTV as well, black RTV. No big deal, I hope. What else? Oh, okay, so obviously there's been some leaks inside the rocker cover areas. All that blackness is from rocker shafts that have been leaking. And then of course all the air blows through the top of the shroud, and yeah, as you know, dirt gets in there. Same on the right hand side. I mean, it's not like actually wet, but there is a lot of moist grime in there, so I'd say they've been leaking for quite a while. But at least all the rocker shafts are aligned correctly. That's one good thing. So if someone has been in here before, at least that part was done correct. But yeah, we'll keep going. It's a dirty little thing, isn't it?